Hey everybody, it's Eddie Ray with Destination Campground, and we're at Lakeview RV Resort in Houston, Texas. We made a trip down here to come to MD Anderson. If you're following my cancer videos, this is a follow-up from June, and so instead of staying in a hotel in June, we decided to stay in the camper in December. So drove the camper down here from Nashville, and then from here we're going to head over to Destin, Florida, and stay the next 2 weeks, which would be Christmas and New Year's. So, Lakeview RV Resort, Houston, Texas. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about this facility. This is a gated facility, and there are a lot of people who stay here who are medical patients. There are also those who are here for just to get away. So we're doing both. Took about 3 weeks off at the end of the year and decided to come in. So I'm going to give you a tour of this campground, show you what it's all about, and just kind of give you a little review like we always do. First thing I'll notice, this is gated. There is a very specific code that gets you into the campground. So you punch it in, the gate opens, and then you're on your way. We're at site 81 on this trip. There's several sites within the campground. I'll show you some benefits to where we are. I'll show you some not so much benefits as to where we are. But it's a nice little campground. I hope you enjoy. In my background is the office, activity center, and then pool area. Obviously you're going to see that. I'm also going to show you the campground from different roads that are within the campground. These are all concrete sites. They are all full hookups, so sewer, water, electricity, cable. They don't have fire pits. Although we did bring our gas fire pit, and they don't have grills, but there are grills or grilling areas spaced around the campground that you can use if you want to do a good cookout. One of the nice features and one of the reasons we chose this place here at Lakeview RV Resort is for the shuttle services. You see a shuttle leaving behind me. There are 6 or 7 medical stops that shuttle makes. Also primarily MD Anderson Hospital, and it also makes a couple residential stops. So it's a 25-minute ride from MD Anderson and to MD Anderson, and there are various times which that shuttle runs. It's a nice feature. I didn't want to have to park that big truck somewhere near the hospital, and this was one of the reasons why we chose this resort. Campground pond is behind me. As you can see, I'm going to call it a lake. It's pretty large. But on the other side, the far side of the resort, is the activity center. I'll show you a bit of it. We'll go in here and take a look around. So this place is phenomenal. It has so many different things that you can use to supplement your stay here, and we have used them. One of the things I'll throw out there is we normally make coffee in the morning, and in this case there is coffee already prepared for you here. So I'll show you. This is the coffee making station. There's popcorn and ice and a refrigerator. And another thing, if you're here for a long period of time, you can get your packages stored over here for you that are delivered by whoever you may choose to deliver. There is a television and lounging area, as you can see, and then table and another lounging area. Book center, if you like to read books, there's plenty of books. And along with that are fitness items, bicycle, treadmill, elliptical, there's pool, and a little bit of inside shuffleboard, and if you like ping pong, there you go. This is really nice. It's just kind of, those of you that like to get up, I like to get up and get at it, start my day, and this is exactly what you need to do that. Now, attached to this is a restroom for men and women, and then on the other side of that is the pool. So perfect. Now, I will add, there's also a computer room. So there's a little room set aside in the activities center. I'll show you where it's at. It's right here, and there are several computers in there. So if you need to hook up and you don't have the luxury of a laptop or a smartphone, you can go right in, dial up, and there you go. You're right online and supplement your emails or whatever that you may need. As I said, attached to the activity center, there are restrooms and showers. Let's give you a quick peek at that. I'm in the men's restroom. I checked it. There's no one in here. And as you can see, there are several sinks. There are several stalls. And there are also, on the other side of this here wall, is showers. Now, these showers are nice. Probably the nicest that we've ever camped with. So I'll give you a quick peek as we go along. A couple of urinals here. You have your stalls. Those are, what it is a stall. But nice. The tile work is really good. And these showers, I just love these showers. So, hard, heavy door. Plenty of space. You got a little sitting table down here, right here. And then if you take a look in the shower, there's a nice linen to cover you, and then plenty of space for the shower. So it's perfect. Really, this is the place to be. Now, there is another bathhouse, like I said, on the other side of the campground, and it's as nice as this one, not quite as large. If you go out, there's a secondary door. You go out here, you wind up at the backside of the pavilion, and here at the pavilion there is a nice bar if you want to cook or store some drinks, and then a grill area, and then on the other side of that is the pool. So let's go in here and take a look at this pool. Have the latch and then go around and take a look. So a great little area for the pool. It is it starts at 0 and goes a few steps down, and then here is the pool, and then hot tub right over here. Now remember, this is December, so the temperatures have been in between the high 60s to mid 80s that we've been here in Houston. But shoot, this is nice. I actually got in the pool yesterday. I think it was warmer. It's like heated, and then it was heated early in the morning, and then in the afternoon it was obviously cooler, but it wasn't so much as I couldn't swim in it. I jumped right in and I didn't have any problem. I wasn't shivering to death. So this is really nice. So let's talk just for a minute about the laundry facilities here. I have a very nice full-service laundry facility. Now this facility here uses cards. As you can see, there are numerous washers, and they also have numerous dryers. Shouldn't have any problems getting your clothes cleaned while here. Now, since this is kind of a facility that it's a luxury resort, but also there are people that stay here for extended periods of time, primarily because of the MD Anderson Hospital. And so they need these facilities, these items here, because they're here for prolonged periods. This is a great laundry facility. There's a second bathhouse that also has a laundry facility in it on the other side of the campground. And I just couldn't say enough about what we're looking at here. This is quite nice. You see the ironing board behind me, and then obviously multiple dryers. Another feature I'll add that is nice here are mailboxes. So obviously if you're staying here for a long period of time, you do get mail, and there are assigned mailboxes to those sites that are maybe more so than the average week of campground staying. This is directly across the way from the activities center and office building, and near the front of the campground. Near the front of the campground is a nice feature. No, not dumpsters. Yes, dog wash center. Now, I showed this to Sydney and she didn't like it. Actually, Angie showed it to her, and it was like run away, sniff, 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 run away. But they've got this dog wash center here, and it's really nice. It's got a vacuum, obviously a tub, and water resources, and it's a little hose. But it's perfect. So you know how hard it is to wash the dog in the sink or the tub in the camper or at home. Well, this is a little built-in feature here to the campground.
Our campsite was Site 81. We had electricity, water, sewer, and cable. With a picnic table and a flat level pad measuring 20 foot by 35 foot, we could fit the camper and truck on the pad without any issues. At the back corner of the site was a spotlight or a walkway light that run along the walking trail. This light was extremely bright. It would also be a hindrance as you were trying to sleep, and we had to use towels to cover our windows. Other than this, the site was great. Free access to the water, free access to the walking trail, and no problems.
This site here is Site 63, and then it moves on to Site 157. Doesn't look like anybody's staying here. There's a few of these sites that are vacant right now, but you can kind of get a clear view of what they look like. These are shorter sites, and they kind of ebb and flow in the length of them. Across the street, though, from these sites is some overflow parking. So if you have a couple of different vehicles, then you can use these for overflow parking. As you can see down this roadway, there's plenty of campsites down. We'll go show you all of these if we can, or at least a large part of what I feel is probably the most important. Site 74, it's a smaller site. Site 73 and Site 75. This is on the, I guess, northwestern side of the campground. Also, these pull-through sites are behind me here, but you know, again, it's all talked about. These are, you know, the vegetation is grown. There's some nice sized trees, provides some shade and less wind, so easily manageable in this type of area. Site 101. As you can see, it's across the water from the activities center. This is Site 102, next door to it, and across from the activities center. Now, our camper is right there. I can tell you that these sites here are much more suitable. Now, one thing to notice is this light. If you can deal with the light, the wind is not as bad here and the road noise is not, and you get the sprinkler noise, which is fine. Coincidentally, this light's not working on this trip. They'll probably get it fixed by the time someone else gets here. But these are nice sites to have. They're right on, of course, the walking track and across from the activity center, which is a little, you know, it's a little walk, but not too far. Site here is on the south side. Our campsite's way over there. This is 108. Again, it's on the water. There's a little travel path that's there. And then if you look a little further up, there's a couple of others. Let's go with Site 110 and 111. Now, clear right there. Light. Site 110, light. Table, light. It's almost as bright as my head is in bright sunlight. So just be mindful of that. Ask about if it's near a light if you're going to try to get on this waterway, because it's very bright. Again, you see the little travel path. There is the activity center. Nice trees, just the works. But look out. Light. Site 167 there behind me. That's a very short site. It has everything you need, but it's short. You can see further on beyond 167. Another vacant site that we have here is site 217. So again, concrete pad. This would accommodate our camper, probably larger. Not too far from here are dumpsters where Angie is, and then beyond that is another roadway. Now it's not near as busy as the highway that's surrounding the campground, but it's plenty there. Now let's just go to show you. Site 170 has this little camper here. Fits right in, as you can see, everything that you need for that. Now, across the way, Class A motorhome, no problems there. And then, as you see, this one here as well. There are some cabins, I guess I'll call those cabins, here at the resort, and obviously they're very nice, have a little deck on them, and livable. So those are pretty sharp. I like those. Site 180 right here, 179 right there, 181, 182, and on down the way. They do offer services here, such as washing your camper. I've also seen people washing their vehicles. I think you just have to let them know or get permission to do it. It shouldn't be much of an issue, but they do allow for that too. 89 here, and then 190 is directly behind me. As you can see, that's very nice. Now there are some pull-throughs on the other side of me. These campers here, these pull-throughs are very long. You can fit your tri-axle campers or your toy haulers with a deck, what have you. Now I'll tell you, in comparison to where our site is, this is the back side of the campground, so I would refer to this as the south side of the campground. The wind is not near as bad. I don't know if you hear it in the video or not, but it's not near as bad. These campers block that. When you're further in, maybe the next row over, they block that as well. So it's pretty nice to have that blocking of the wind, especially coming off the lake back there. So the campground says you're not to have any permanent structures, decks, that kind of thing attached to your camper. I do see some campers that look like they've been here for a while. I don't know if this is just where they stay or live or what's going on with that, but there's a little bit of variety. This site here is site 193. As you can see, it's plenty in length. A lot of these larger campers are kept over here. As you can see, this one and this one behind me. Over here is another empty site that's being used. This is site, well, I can't even read the number. Something that ends in a 0. These are sites 301, 302, 303, and 304. They're basically parallel to the roadway. You pull up, it looks like maybe an overflow feature where people aren't necessarily using a living space, but maybe staying or had to stay a little longer than necessary. I'm in that area here. Within that area also is the golf cart rental site. That's on the back side of this big large black camper here. As you can see, we're in our little golf cart. This is a nice little area if you do have overflow, or maybe if you're not necessarily needing a living space to put your camper during your stay. I talked about the pavilions where you could cook or just kind of grill, hang out. There's also a sitting area and a fire pit. This is one of them here. So behind me you see the grill, refrigerator. There's a couple burners and then a sitting area. And then there's also a fire pit, which is propane, and you can sit there and enjoy. So I guess that's set to accommodate those who don't necessarily have a burn pit at their site, which is the majority. Another thing that they have, and this is always a nice feature if you have a dog like ours, is a poop station. So the poop station is right here, and they encourage you to pick up after your animals. So utilize those tools. Now, if you're a person of want to be a little bit more economical and drive an electrical vehicle, they have charging stations for those right here. As you can see, this little car is parked or plugged into the electrical station. So blink. If you look on Google Maps at the campground, you can see that this where I'm at is not here. So site 678 is here with me. 677, 676, and many others. This is a newly finished up part of the campground. It's really nice, just as nice as all the others. It has its own bathhouse right across the way, but just adds more space. That's what you want to do when you're but you can travel trailers, fifth wheels, there's plenty. Getting into the tiny house bid, there's one. Site 662. Now I am standing in site 661. This is the southeast part of the campground, the newer part of the campground. We have some small campers here. We have some larger campers here. This here is site 659. You can see there's some smaller trees that planted as this is relatively new. But it's well kept. All the rock, or where the utilities are, is well kept. And uniform really to every site. We'll make our way down here. 656, we just passed. 655 is there. And this little empty site is 654. I'm at the second bathhouse. As you can see, I'm not going to do a whole lot of detail here, but there are 4 dryers and there are 4 washers. I've been into the restrooms here. They're just a little smaller. There's nothing really any different than the normal the primary restroom. It's real nice. There's an attached burn pit to these right here, and then another sitting area with a cooking area that overlooks a small lake. Smaller than ours, but equally the same. Now, let's talk about fishing. Who fishes? I raise my hand. You can fish in this lake. It's a catch and release fishing lake. So that's really nice. And we haven't done any fishing here. I do plan to do some saltwater fishing when we get into Destin. But it's nice to have that there. Now, from what I understand, it doesn't require a fishing license because it's a private facility. Just as long as you catch and release. That's the rule. I'm standing in sites 634, 32, 30, 28, 26. Yes, I can count backwards by twos. All of these sites are the same size. They are separated by sod grass, then the stone for the utilities. It backs up to this fenced area, and it looks like to me they're tearing down a building behind that. So I think these are probably empty because of the construction work going on behind. Now, a little further down is a really nice rock wall, and this I can see would really quiet down a lot of the noise that goes on behind there. I would suggest, I know there's a cost associated with this, but if the campground were fully surrounded by this, the wind nor the noise would be minimal. But you know, who am I, right? If you get to travel into Houston, there's plenty of RV parks. Lakeview RV Park has been good to us. Be mindful of the campsite light, otherwise there's no complaints here. It's a great place to stay. Plenty of the amenities that any of us would want. Angie's shielding her eyes from the bright light. Y'all have a great trip. Dream big and live for the moment.